Um, we'll conquer this yet. We will. um, hope you're having a great Saturday. Easter weekend. Yay. Thankful for the Lord and his resurrection. Amen and amen. And where would we be without that? Um, so, yes, today I wanted to go ahead and look through some of my favorite magazines as an artist. We'll see if I can dip this down here in a minute, but I'm trying to decide. I don't know what that noise was. I'm down in a basement in my studio, and sometimes it's like the weird little noises. Where are they coming from? Hmm, I don't know. Okay, let's see. I think we might have gotten it to work. I think you have to back up a couple times and then go forward. It's kind of weird. I don't know if other people have that problem, but I seem to. So let me see if I can put this down so that you can see the two magazines, Somerset Studio and Daphne's Diary. These are two of my favorite sources in magazines um, for an artist because I feel like for the value that they give, not only inspiration, but you get free papers and things like that. So as a mixed media artist, it seems like they have something for everybody and it's just so inspiring, high quality. Not the cheapest things in the world, but if you go to their website, they often give like a pre-order price. That's really great. And so let's see if I can get my camera to drop down and then take a look at these. So here we go. Woo, hold on to your saddle. Okay. Are we seeing it? Let's see. Okay. Upside down. um, but the first one is, sorry about my water over there. I don't know how to make this smaller. This is where I keep my painting water, which needs to be changed in my used baby wipes. I reuse these, I don't know how many times. So I use them wet often when I'm working with oil pastels. I will use a baby wipe to kind of get the pastel off because I rub with my finger. And then I let them dry out. You can reuse these several times. So that way they're not getting wasted. And look how pretty they can become. That little bit of color in there. So I have a little stack of stuff over there to the left. So sorry about that. And my oil pastels are up here. So we have Somerset Studio. Let's see if I can do this upside down. I don't know. Can we move this that way? No. Oh, well. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so Somerset Studio is one that I really enjoy. And it is a mixed media magazine from Stampington, I believe it's called. And stampington.com is where you would go. And it is really heavy duty. It comes out super high quality, and you can use these for so many things. And you get these free papers that are really thick, if you can see that. And you can use this in your art journaling. You can make card backings out of here. You can, all sorts of things you can do with this. So they take some of the artwork that's in the magazine that time and they make papers. And so periodically you flip through. Look at that lace. It's very pretty. And you can use this in your own artwork. So it's like a twofer. You're paying for the magazine, getting inspiration and getting exposed to different artists and being able to look up their work. Then they have these sort of little exercises that you can do when it comes to like doodling. They give you these sort of spaces to kind of practice the themes that they're working on in their magazine. So this one is which one is this? This is February, March, April of 2025. So obviously the new one will be coming out. And often if you follow them on their social media, they are trying to pick between their covers and they will, let me turn this back around upside down for me, right side up for you. But they will have you participate in picking between a couple different colors. So the theme on this one is called Snippets and Scraps. So each time they have this sort of little theme. Sometimes it's paper dolls, sometimes it's, I don't know, journals, paper, books, binding, whatever. But they have a little something for everyone. So as you can see, In here, they've got more colorful things rather than the muted tones. Here's a journal description, and sometimes they will give you a little bit of the directions how to do that, or they'll refer you to the person's website, and all sorts of different styles. And of course, they tell you the artist there, and then you can read. And these are super nice to I pop in my bag if I'm taking my kids to an appointment as well, and it gives me something fun to read. That's still artsy, but great ideas that you can get and launch off from this. All sorts of things. So this is probably it's tough to pick between Daphne's Diary and Somerset Studio because they're enough different that I think they're both great assets to your artist life. But at the same time, they're, it's hard to pick which one I like better. I don't know, but look at that. I love that. So you can get color palette inspiration, this sort of textural mixed media. You've got the string and sort of sewn bits there, and words and fabric, and the pink. That's pretty. The embroidery hoop here. So this is all about embroidery hoop art. You can see that. These are really fun. They've got some like dried seeds or something inside that little test tube. Not test tube, but you know what I mean. Whatever those little plastic corked tubes are. And what else have we got here? So Joyful Messes. I know all about that. So mixed media grunge using stenciling, texture paste. You can use your art crayons. You can use your paint, splattering, all the things. And that is super pretty. So that could be a card front. That could be an art journal page. Great stuff. Oh, birds. I didn't even get to properly look through this. I'm so behind. 2025 has really been a challenge for me. Oh, but at least I got it. My new stove came in after a month. So that's something. So here they've made a paper for you out of the ones that we have just seen. So it's double-sided, so you can see like the sort of pink swoosh on the back there, and super thick. It's glossy, but I'd prefer matte, but that's okay. But you can even bend these, and make like a skinny, cut it down and make like a skinny little notebook out of this because it's very, very sturdy. Or you could make pockets for your current art journal. What else have we got here? Oh, that's cute. That's funny. All sorts of ideas in the Somerset Studio. Again, one of my top 2 favorite magazines. Worth the price because I feel like you could reuse even these pages. You could cut these things out and use them. There are no magazine police that are going to tell you that you can't. But look at this. It's got fabric here with the little sticks, so you could do like found objects, things like that. Here's another exercise. So they give you these periodic little things. They do these color palettes, which are nice. And then you can kind of come up with your own color palettes. And this is great for working sort of as an art prompt, because sometimes you kind of get stuck. I know for me, there are a few colors I just kind of tend towards. And so sometimes it's nice to shake it up a bit with the different color palettes there. Buttons. Boy, don't we all have a giant stash of buttons? I feel like I do. My sewing days. Let's see, what else have we got toward the end here? I didn't go toward the beginning, I don't think. So the beginning, of course, there's advertisements in there, but more books. Kim Collister, that's a familiar name. So again, something for everyone. Inspiration for your own art, drawing, all those kinds of things. Little tins with little journal inside. So that is Somerset Studio. I love those colors. And there's, of course, the cover journal here. they've made into a paper for you. Isn't that beautiful? And it's got just layers and layers. It's got like I don't know if that's newsprint or old book paper or something like that. And then on the back is this sort of lacy bit. Might be hard to see on the camera. This mixed media sort of gel printing. That's what I need to get my gel printing stuff back out. Once you do, though, it's like your whole room gets covered in gel prints. It's hard to stop. So that is Somerset Studio. And again, great magazine, super thick. I feel like it's worth the money. The thought processes, the amount of effort, the variety, and then the usability from it. More than just a magazine. I feel like you get your money's worth with that. Another favorite is Daphne's Diary. This is number 2 from 2025. So the newest one has just come out, I think, overseas. I'm in America. So this is the one that was number 2 of 2025. So still pretty new. Probably something that you'd see on the newsstand still. And it has a completely different personality. So you kind of get this it's sort of like I'm gonna have to cough here. I'm sorry, I've got dust. It's the only thing about going live. You gotta cough. So this is kind of, you'll see as we flip through, but just completely different personality and style. But still, once you're done reading it, if you can bear to cut it apart, sometimes I'm like, no. You can cut out these and use these in your art journal pages or what have you. But all sorts of good stuff. So what do we got here? And then she always has little stories. She has recipes in here. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. There's lots of eggy things because we're around Easter time. I need to get rid of the water. Hopefully I won't spill it. So ways you can do sort of springtime, everything's coming back to life. What else have we got here? Candle holders out of the egg cartons. Of course, that would be very flammable. So those of us who have chickens, we have lots of eggs and egg cartons. So you could do a craft with that. But everything's sort of, you can see a different style. She's got lots of like clip art here and there and everywhere. So it's kind of a elegant mess. What else have we got here? So, and then she'll have these look at all these little things you could practice painting. Like cut apart things that you could use. So like, for example, on the other side, it has a pattern so that it's not just white on the back, but all these you would cut out and use them like to make your little bands, I guess, to hold your eggs or whatever. Or you could use this as paper, right? Or you could use this on a card. You could cut this out and, put a sentiment across. So various ways that you could use this. So again, a lot of worth for your money. Mother's Day, because I think in the UK, Mother's Day is much earlier than ours. In United States, it is in May always. So I think in the UK, is it March or April? March. Is it March? But anyway, a little montage of travel-y sort of things and antiques. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty in Belgium. So they kind of hone in on a place and do an article on that a few pages long. And everything's just so pretty and inspiring. So if you're looking for, a not so expensive thing, I mean, it's great to buy the books and this kind of thing, but you always feel funny chopping up a book. At least I do. But with this, a magazine would be more apt to do that. You could cut this out and use again in your journaling or what have you. Different articles that she has. Flowers. So pretty. Carrot cupcake in the recipe. That looks tasty. Derby. So again, now we're going to Derby in Belgium. So lots of little, look at that. I love old architecture. Very cool. And then things you might be able to find there in their little shops. Ice cream cone with ears. So another little craft thing there. Look at that cake. That's really pretty. Okay, so vegetable garden stuff. Plaster, so things you could do with plaster, and you can use these same techniques on a smaller scale rather than a wall in your art journaling. All the different beautiful birds. Walking bingo, so some interactive sort of ideas you could do with your family or an art group. More recipes. But then she's always has these cut aparts. Look at all these. You could put these in your art journal, but these are cake toppers is what she's doing, like little, you can put them in the little cupcakes or whatever, but you could do whatever with those. Like pull out, this is probably one of those posters. It's gonna be too big to fit anyway, but I can see through there maybe a bicycle with flowers. And then you can iron that out with like a towel on top and then hang that. That could be your like inspiration for the quarter. Portugal, amazing colors, amazing architecture. All that tile work is just so stunning. So you feel like you learn things. You know, you're not only doing, but you're learning things, which is great for your brain. I think that is a great thing there. So she puts a few papers in here. Again, you could cut these out and make bows, but you don't have to. You could use this paper for something else. You could color with colored pencils on here. Lots of ideas. And of course, the back is stunning. And so those are two of my favorite magazines, Somerset Studio and Daphne's Diary. And I am not sponsored by them at all. I think they're, I like things that aren't just one-use things. If you're going to invest in something, it's good to have multiple uses for something, in my opinion. So I just wanted to sort of bring that to you today. Also gives me another chance to work on my live skills so that we could do some painting. I mean, we could do some painting, I guess. What could we do? You know what a good find has been for oil pastels are these Art Echo oil pastels here. I've got them here. Some of my favorite oil pastels are here. I've got the Paul Rubin Haya, however you say that, has this packaging to it. The original Paul Rubens, at least to me, with this packaging, they're great too. But this I think is even creamier and nicer. And then there is, of course, Mungio that I love, Mungio Gallery, and I think I would say that these are pretty similar to the Art Echo, and that's ARTECHO. The Art Echo, let me get a similar. The Art Echo, they're about the same diameter as the Mungio Gallery, but the color choices are slightly different. And this is a huge set for like $30 something, I think, on Amazon. It's very, very great price there. But if we lift this out, let's see, am I breaking it? So there's this sheet and this sheet. So that is, turns out to be one, so it must be 60 on each tray. And it has a few metallics, and then it has these neons, which are surprisingly useful. Like if you're doing flower centers or things, you could pop this on. Some of these neons, but the beautiful blues, and they've got some really great colors in here, like this one. This is a super useful color, at least for the kind of art that I like to paint. And the array of grays, more like the French grays, and then some of the other ones that don't have maybe the browns in them. And then these really light colors, which I love. As well as the super dark ones, and just a beautiful choice of colors. And this Mungio, this is my smaller set. I've got two sets of these Mungio because this was the original set that I bought, and I loved it so much I bought the bigger set in the wooden box, which is also a great deal. So I suggest you skip the smaller one and go to the larger one because you're gonna like them and you're gonna want the more colors. But these are some of my favorite Mungyo colors right here. They get used a lot. That one. They have a great green, light green. They have a great olive greeny color. So if you follow them on Instagram, they have some fun artists there that they feature, but some great color choices for that. But that Art Echo, just to give people a different choice, because you do get 120 for a little better price than the 120 of the Mungyo, but they're similar. But yeah, you know, and if you use my favorite Strathmore paper, you can. I've got the toned gray out right now, but these are a great price. And so let's see, maybe we'll make something here. Why not? um, well, I guess I'll do some flowery stuff here, yes? Maybe I'll turn it on its side. And sometimes when I paint, I go ahead and if it's just a single motif that I'm painting, I will go ahead and take a picture of that and use that in my surface pattern design, which is a fun way to reuse your art. So I've got, let's see here. Let's grab a great green. I love olivey greens. So you can just be really free with it. They have a great, they're like creamy, but still hard enough to sort of, you know, use in a way that is useful. Plus they're kind of squared off in bits, so you can kind of use those as corners. And then you can layer on, this is another favorite, as you can see from the tip. So again, take a baby wipe and just wipe that off. And it's new. And then you can use that as a sort of layering highlight. You probably hear a piano in the back. Sorry, my daughter's practicing. And just maybe a bit of that teal, just to give some dimension, because you know colors in nature aren't just flat usually. There might be some instances, I suppose, that, but not very many. And I like to even put weird colors that you wouldn't put in a leaf. Boop. You know, just to, I don't know. And then for the flower center, let's see, it's got this great yellow ochre kind of a color. It's always been a favorite of mine. So you can kind of start building up a center. They're so creamy and nice. Oil pastels are amazing. If you have not tried them, what a great art supply. And they are not very expensive for the quality that you get. So the payoff compared to, say, buying cheap watercolor, you know, you can really tell the difference a little bit easier. So you can just kind of grab, I'm just grabbing from all my sets. They all play well together. And then you just build up stuff. Sometimes I use color pencil or watercolor underneath if I have like if I'm doing like a larger space, and because eventually they're so creamy, you'll start moving things around in a funny way. So it's nice to kind of build up with some other media and then layer on top with, should we do this one? Let's see. And then you start getting some leaves out here. And just have fun. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, this is probably upside down. I don't know if I can draw upside down. I'm still working on drawing right side up. And then you can layer a couple different colors. And you can use blending stumps to layer, to smush like this. I just use my finger for the most part, to be honest. I don't know. I'm a very tactile person anyway, but I like the blend that it gives, and it's free, you know. Let's put a different color in there. Let's do a little bit of this sort of coral. But once you start going, layering these things together, you start getting even more inspired. Um, I don't know. Is anybody watching out there? I can't tell. I'm talking to myself, me and the Lord. Um, but you have a favorite oil pastel, or have you ever tried oil pastels? And do you like them? Did you hate it? Maybe you're kind of person. I know some people don't like touching art supplies with their fingers, and I get that, but I don't know. Let's see. So we need to put some darker shadow here. And we need some lighter things. There's so many colors to play with. You can really just go to town. Giving direction to the leaves. So you can leave some things with texture that you don't blend in. You blend in the bottom bits. But then you come in on top with um, some more definition. Then you can use your colored pencils on top to sort of go right on top. These are Prismacolors, which are some of my favorite. I also like the Polychromos, so whatever you have, use whatever you have. But if you were wondering, and then you can sort of get lines out here for the stamen or whatever you call those. You just might have to pull it off the tips there. Let's see, where's my white? Or you can use Posca pens. Give it a shimmy shake. And then, we got a little bit on there. And they go nicely on top of oil pastels. So if you're looking for something a little bit, opaque that you need to add to something, we need some more leaves in here. Just play. I mean, it's just sometimes I finish art pieces and I'm like, wow, did I make that? Other times I don't like it. I'm like, wow, I made that. But regardless, it's great exercise for your mind. And you never know when you paint that thing that you just love or sells really well. You just never know. You never know until you do it. And so you have to do it. And I think that's a good principle to go by for, not bad things, don't just do, but uh, sometimes people are so afraid to try things. It's like, because they're going to fail, I guess, but that's okay. What person does something perfectly the first time they do it, right? None of us do that. So failure is part of the learning process. Just get back up and do the thing again. I'm preaching to myself here. Let's see. But you get the idea. It's fun to let's bring some purples. Get this really dark sort of, what are they calling this? Grape purple. I feel like I need a little bit more contrast there. Extraction. And then I sort of like to echo it in another part of the painting. So whatever I'm doing, I like the color to show up in another place, even if it's just a touch, just so it's all connected and not just, So maybe that's an opportunity to use this color for your shading, somewhere else, because instead of gray or whatever. I don't know. I'm not telling you what to do. You just paint. I need a white here. Let's see. Clean that off. I love white at the end because it just highlights, just kind of lifts everything. I don't know. But you got to be careful to know when to stop because otherwise then it's all white. But more green back in here. Let's see. Oh, this one really got used. This is a great color too. Colors, they're so pretty. Okay. Do we need black? I don't know. What do you think? Guess I can turn it around for you. And then you could go back through if you wanted a background. You could fill that in. You could put another little bud around that. And I have this in front of me. This is not any one of these flowers, but it sort of just catapulted me that direction. And that's the inspiring thing about, having beautiful things around you, I think is important because it's so inspiring. I was talking the other day, we often talk about my complaint of architecture nowadays. Everything is just so sterile and lifeless and uninspiring, with a few exceptions. Of course, I feel like, why are we making things like that? Why are we not encouraging artisans and why does everything have to be so blocky? It's sad. I don't know. If you're gonna build something, build it. Build a beautiful thing. You've taken all that time. Build it smaller then and make it prettier if you need to. If you can't afford it. I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks that? But I know I'm not. I know it's just, there's something inspiring about beautiful architecture. So you do get a little messy. That's okay. But you get the idea. And I kind of love coming in at the end with something a little unexpected. This color has nothing to do really with anything that we were doing, but at the end I just felt like I was looking at my oil pastels and thought, why not? And that's what you have to do. That's art, and you can't be afraid to meddle a little bit with it and give it a go. There we go. Kind of like how that turned out. I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to see what I can create with it online with my digital programs. Or you could frame these you could cut around here and make little art flower frames. You could do all sorts of things. You could cut this out and use it as ephemera. The only thing with oil pastels in a journal is you either need to put like glassine over it, or you should spray it with a fixative that probably a few times. I would do it at least 2 times, because that way and let it dry completely, and that way it won't be so apt to come off easily or get on your other artwork. But because it is a little bit tacky because it's an oil pastel, but I love that. That's fun. Anyways, all right, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today because I've got to get some work done. But I hope you enjoyed those magazines and our little tiny oil pastel painting session. I hope to see you in the next one. If you're not familiar with my channel, I have over 1,500 videos floating on all sorts of topics, and so as well as cooking. And so if you haven't subscribed, you could hit that subscribe button. I have a blog that I regularly write on, an Etsy shop, a PayHip shop, where you can buy some of my art. And got to put the plug in. I don't know. That's one bummer about being an artist. You got to put the plug in for yourself, but no one else is going to do it for you. So anyways, thanks guys for stopping by. I hope to see you again. Have a great day.